Welcome back to Marketing is Broken, the weekly marketing talk show where we so badly want you to understand the importance of collecting customer feedback that we're doing not one, not two, but three. Actually, 4 episodes. You already know the questions you should be asking your customers and how their answers should inform your messaging. So today, we're taking a more tactical tack. When you set sail on your feedback gathering adventure, what tools should be with you at the helm? And which marketing tools should walk the plank?
Oh, brother.
Today, I'm joined by Baptiste Debever, co-founder of Feedier.com, for actionable advice on creating feedback loops that customers crave. We've talked a lot about customer feedback on this show. We've talked about the hows, whens, wheres, whys, and whos. Wait, wrong whos. But we haven't yet talked about the whats, the actual tools, platforms, and systems you can use to collect and organize all that raw data. Between pop-up website polls and email surveys, client interviews and review mining, customer support chat logs and messenger bots, there are dozens of feedback apps, platforms, and even people clamoring for your business. How do you go about deciding which to use and which to avoid, like gas station sushi? Building a truly effective customer feedback system comes down to giving your customers an experience they actually enjoy. On the flip side, if you ask for feedback the wrong way, you can alienate a previously unruffled customer for life. Thankfully, today we'll get some practical guidance. Baptiste Debever, co-founder of Feedier.com, will share his expert advice on building a system to gather great feedback minus the backfeed. So, what are some ways that companies can actually hurt the customer experience when looking to gather customer feedback?
Well, it's an excellent question. So, time is expensive, right? My time, your customer's time, your employees' time. It's very expensive. And the thing we see with brands is like they usually get around 10, trying 15% response rate when trying to collect feedback, no matter what channels they use. But feedback should just be easy to collect. Feedback should be something that just come in, and it shouldn't be like trying to battle and to get it just to get it. So I guess the question is why are companies still sending like very boring stuff, or like very, for instance, when it comes to survey, which is kind of what we do at Feeder, is where a company is sending very long and just boring surveys. I've just on my hard drive, I've a collection pile of them that I received over time, of like surveys with a page long of description, introduction, saying, hey, we're doing this survey for and here's the legal stuff. And come on, just get to the point where you're doing this survey, and don't ask 30 questions, just get to the point, and I will deal with that. So I think it should be, just make it simpler, shorter, and very timely, very, very relevant for the customer.
Sure.
So
Okay. And
more
and
conversational, basically.
you've worked with a lot of different clients. On your website it says that you have 100,000 feedback responses across your customers. What are some of the biggest complaints that customers have about companies today when it comes to customer feedback? Are there themes that you're seeing?
There are certainly things that we're saying, even though we have like a lot of different customers, starting from like single guy running his own consultancy business to I think our biggest client has like 10,000 employees. So it's completely different channels, completely different use cases. But usually people like to complain about prices, obviously. They like to complain about user experience, and they're also very happy to share their voice. But the thing is, they want to do it when they feel like it's relevant. So if you're asking for and just say you have a software, and you the big mistakes we see is like companies that have a software, they ask for feedback for some things the customer hasn't done. So like you have let's say a productivity software, you ask about the user experience when getting through the different tasks, But if you haven't done any task using the software, so there's no point in asking you your feedback about that. So what we're saying is that when it's relevant, and when the feedback makes sense, people like to share the voice. And then when it comes to the complaints, yeah, as I said, so it's prices, speed, user experience. Like user experience is a lot. Like it basically means everything. So if you have a software website, just a minor bug can just kill your customer experience. If you have we also have a bunch of customers who have websites, and a lot of people complain about speed. I guess Amazon set the standards. Now it's 2 days, 3 days, or get yourself out. So yeah, basically experience, speed, and prices mainly.
That's great. And so you, one more question for you. So you mentioned a little bit about getting feedback when it's relevant. Is that
Yeah.
usually within the application? Is that via email? Is that through a pop-up on a website? What are the most, I guess, engaging ways that you're seeing across all those different, mediums for gathering customer feedback?
Yeah, again, I guess my, my answer would be depends. Depends on what you have. Because let's take the case of like just a marketing company doing running some kind of small conferences from time to time, and I've seen that firsthand. Um, they're running these events, and they want to collect feedback, like how was the experience, was the content good, etc., etc. And what they do is they usually send an email after the event, or worst case scenario, they give out a paper, so a printed survey. This is very bad,
Sure.
definitely bad. What works best though is during the event, people are engaged, so they're already spending time with you for this event. So why are you not asking for feedback during the event? So you display a QR code, you share like a bit link, you share whatever you can, but basically make sure people give feedback while they are already spending time with you. Because if the event is over, you send an email, no matter what you're going to do, they're just not likely to answer because they moved on. So for email, yes, it can work, but it's like unless you have no other way to do that. Email for post purchase survey, yeah, it works fine. Email for event would not be my recommendation.
Perfect.
And
So yeah,
yeah,
that
if you,
makes
and
a
if you have like a yeah, like I mean, just sorry to cut you off, but just to answer regarding the in-app thing, yes, it makes sense if you have a software and you're pretty confident that you can ask it. Like it's very timely, so it's based on the behavior and based on what your users was doing before, so you can
perfect.
ask great feedback basically.
So it sounds like, definitely doing it in the moment and doing it and getting feedback is the most relevant way to kind of ask for that feedback. So much appreciated, Baptiste Debever. Appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
When you make sure your customers feel heard and enjoy the feedback giving experience, then you can't lose, no matter which tool you choose to use. Join us next time for another exciting episode of Marketing is Broken. Hey, it's Josh from Brandish Insights. Thank you for watching Marketing is Broken. If you like this week's episode, please click below to subscribe or check out other episodes. And if your company could use more insights around your branding efforts, check out brandishinsights.com.